Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning for all the audiences and panelists. I am Faik as your moderator today. It is a great day today to discuss our topic online class or physical class, which one do you prefer? The recent COVID-19 pandemic had caused schools, colleges, and universities campuses to close due to the Movement Control Order (MCO) introduced by the government of Malaysia to curb the spread of the virus. This order had forced all of the students to attend online classes as replacement to the normal physical classes. So, before we go further, let me introduce to all of you our panelists today. Our first panel for our discussion today is Miss Tasha. She is a second year student of Faculty Accountancy from University Technology Mara. Then, our second panel today is Miss Alia. She is an accounting teacher from SMK Bayan Lepas. Last but not least, our third panel, Miss Shali. She is a mathematics lecturer from University Technology Mara. Good morning. Hope all of you are in good condition. Alright, without wasting our time, my first question to Miss Tasha. Which one do you prefer? Online classes or physical classes? And why?
Thank you, Sir Faid, our moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all of you. During this pandemic of COVID-19, the government disallowed all the physical classes. However, the government asked the institution to change their method from physical classes to online classes. As you know, we have been in quarantine for almost a year, right, because of this pandemic. We do have online classes during this quarantine. And of course, I used to have my physical classes. So if you ask for my opinion, based on my experience, I do prefer to have online classes than having physical classes. This is because I do find in having online classes, it will provide me a convenient and flexible learning. I will have a very flexible in my schedule as I can rearrange or change this schedule with my lecturer. I also can set my own schedule as I can plan out as long as meet the important deadline. Besides, I do not need to afraid of being missed out things like having physical classes as I can just go into Google Classroom or View Future to get wherever I want. Future is a official website for UiTM students to get their resources of their courses. I also can just surf the web if I need more about my courses. The best thing in online learning is I can easily get into my online classes by only using my smartphone. This way, my time can be managed more effectively and efficiently.
Thank you, Miss Tasha. So, we can see that the online classes teach students to organize their time wisely and efficiently, as we need to deal with a lot of things by ourselves. Alright then, Miss Shali, do you agree with Miss Tasha or do you have another opinion?
Thank you, Sir Farid. I do agree with some of Miss Natasha's point. However, it doesn't mean that online class can replace physical class at all settings or that it is more effective. For example, early studies showed that online students perform as well, but not better than physical class students. Based on her opinion, I believe that it is hard for some of the students to follow their own schedules, as they might think that there is no one to scold them in case they miss it. In addition, students nowadays easily distracted by their own phone or other things. This is when I think discipline is really important. Students need to learn how to work under pressure in order to prepare for the professional world. On the other hand, physical classes cover the problems stated, for example by assigning in-class activities that need to be finished in a couple of hours. Besides that, Physical classes also help to cultivate interpersonal skills of students. In physical classes, it is easier for a professor to evaluate students' strengths and weaknesses and give them guidance. By this, it can improve the relationship not only between students but also with their lecturer. To build on the interpersonal skills, we need to examine our own nonverbal expression and consider how we interpret those of the others, which only possible in physical classes. We can avoid miscommunication where it might affect any group work. Through cultivating interpersonal skill, students may also gain more confidence in public speaking as they interact with live audience. Students learn how to carry themselves in a professional manner. We all know how businesses now need great interpersonal skills to hire someone.
I agree with Shali's point that cultivating interpersonal skills is important because there are still many students who fail to communicate well and unable to interact fluently. Physical classes can help them to boost self-confidence when interacting with people. However, I think it is not suitable for introvert students as they feel more pressure to orally answer specific questions. This may take time for them to adapt with such an environment and may lead their thinking to be narrow in issuing any opinion.
Thank you, Miss Shali and Miss Alia. I agree a lot with both of you. Based on my experience, most of my interpersonal skills were developed during physical classes such as communication skills and leadership skills because I was able to interact a lot with my lecturers and friends. So, Miss Alia, what is your opinion about our topic today?
In my opinion, online classes also have their benefits to students, even though most students will agree that online classes give more barriers than benefits. Online classes actually help deepen self-discipline and motivation skills. This can be proven by an article that I have read written by Ms. Inawati and Normashita, who state that students perceive the e-learning web-based module to be useful in improving their understanding, independence, self-discipline, motivation to learn, and interaction with each other and with the teacher. Students with online learning also state that all freedom requires discipline. Thus, online classes improve their time management skills. There are few possible distractions that occur that can make online learning initially difficult. However, I believe that if students have a right set of skills and a hardworking attitude, they can success. Other than that, online classes also require self-motivation. Students need to set their own goals and celebrate when they meet the achievement. For example, if a student has achieved his goals to complete the assignment within a week, he can reward himself by buying something sweet or maybe have a short trip.
Thank you, Miss Alia, for giving your opinion. So, Miss Tasha, as a student who is now having online class, can you elaborate more on the advantages of having online class or maybe your own experience?
Sure, Faid, I will start with the fact first then. Based on the article I have written by R.D. Minion, our education minister said the number of bullies in school have been dropped this year, and he recorded a huge reduction compared to the last year. In other words, by having online classes, students are safe from their bullies, will induce stress among the student and lead the student to have more focus in their study. And from my own experience, I do love and enjoy the benefit of being surrounded with my family members. If I get stressed out during my class, I will take a regular break to get up, move around my house, go talk with my family members, or maybe go listen to music before returning back to my lessons. I can see the way of having online classes could give advantage to the student in a way of reducing their expenses. As we know, for today, for now, a lot of people get knocked out from their jobs, and it's such a hard time for the student or maybe the parents to pay the bills or the expenses. Based on the article I have read online, the writer Jonas also believed that in having online classes, we could minimize various of costs such as fuel, printing, and many more. For example, if we are having physical classes, the student need to pay for their transportation expenses. An example, based from my experience during my first semesters, I do need at least 2 ringgit for my two-way bus fare a day. 1 week, I need 10 ringgit. For a month, I need 40 ringgit just for my transportation expenses in the college. However, during online classes, it will help me to save me from paying these expenses. I told you before, I don't need to move to attend my classes. And based my own experience, I need to pay for RM 180 ringgit per month for my rental expenses. This is not a fixed amount, by the way. We need to pay for our utilities too. However, during these online classes, I do not need to pay for these expenses too, as I do not have to go back to my campus to have my physical classes. This same goes to the students who do not have to pay for their college fee.
Thank you, Miss Tasha. I do get your point there. There are no better places than our home sweet home. Since I was studying online at home, I was able to save a lot of money because I just eat food that my mom cooks or buys, and I don't need to pay for my hostel fees for the current semesters. Alright then, Miss Shali. What is your opinion on Miss Tasha's statement?
From Miss Natasha's point, yes, with online classes, students can find everything through the internet. However, for some students, they may already be accustomed to using university's facilities such as libraries. Many students prefer to go to the campus library for them to study comfortably. Campus libraries are convenient for some students since they provide facilities such as internet connection, book, computer, and even air conditioner, since some students might find that it is uncomfortable to study in hot condition. Besides that, it is well known that we must keep quiet in the library. By doing so, there will be no disturbance for the student to study on their own. On the other hand, students might get disturbed by their family members when they are in the online class. To some extent, it can affect their studies and performance. Besides providing better facilities, physical classes also give focus on extracurricular activities. Universities and students' union typically host countless clubs and societies that students can join. There are three main types that consist of sport teams, subject-based group, and social clubs organized around a shared interest. Maybe online classes also offer this course. However, it obviously will be different since it can be done practically. For example, for sport teams such as football, netball, volleyball, and badminton, all these sports need their own court to play, which have been provided by the university itself. Some clubs and society are free to join, while others do charge a small fee. Getting involved in extracurricular activities is a great way to meet new people, enjoy their time at university, and ensure students strike a healthy balance between studying and their social life. It will also make a student a better candidate for graduate roles by giving them lots of practical example they can use in job application to show off their skill. These activities also help students to learn about themselves, develop and use their skills and knowledge in different contexts, and help them to be productive. Besides that, students can develop their leadership activities by having held position of authority.
I am sorry to interrupt you, Miss Shadi.
Yes, Miss Alia, do you want to say something?
I strongly agree with the fact that physical class also focus on extracurricular. Students have their time to meet with new people and socialize other than learning. Online classes are quite difficult to engage in extracurricular activities. This is because students apply more importance to online learning because of the tighter schedules. Maybe there are some students who love to join extracurricular activities even though they have packed schedules, especially for those with online learning, as it seems this is the time for them to interact with each other.
Thank you, both of you, for the statement given. Yes, I do agree that extracurricular activities really help us release our stress after being busy with all of the classes, assessment, and assignments. But now, because of the current pandemic situation, we cannot engage anymore in extracurricular activities physically as we used to. Then, we will proceed with Miss Alia. Do you have another point to support your argument?
Thank you, moderator. I will further explain about smooth interaction when having online classes. Based on an article that I have read written by Holly, who provides that online learning methods help promote interaction between lecturers and students. This is because they can speak comfortably over the chat without having shyness. Students will feel more free to ask questions to the lecturers because when having a physical classes, sometimes lecturers and students are rushing to go to their next class and do not have free time to ask face to face. Besides, students can have more attention from lecturers since students with online learning have to struggle studying by themselves without the help from the lecturers physically. They will feel like taking one-on-one class and the interaction seems to be smooth as they can ask questions more easily than offline lectures.
That's exactly what I feel. Sometimes I do feel shy or afraid to ask my lecturer during one-to-one class. It's not the lecturer that I afraid of. I afraid of being judged for my question, like in front of my classmates. I afraid to be judged. But during online classes, I do not need to ask the question in front of my classmates. I can ask the lecturer after the class, not in front of the classmate anymore. I can ask the lecturer virtually using WhatsApp, Telegram, or other platform. This also gives me time to reconstruct my questions and give time the lecturer to give the best solution to answer my question for help me to understand things better. And based on the article I have read, Introvert Enjoy E-Learning by Livia B, she said this is the perfect or the best time for introvert friends. I'm totally agree with her. She absolutely right because as far as I know, most classroom activities are involving more talking than and less writing. But with online classes, it's another way around. What I want to say is physical classes will involve interaction between the classmate and also between the student and the lecturer. Introvert students like writing than talking by default. When they write, they do take time to process each word. Other than that, since the online classes remove physical presence of others, the introvert student can learn their way which they love the most. I do believe introvert is independent creatures. This is because they like to figure out things their own way first. Only when they make a serious obstacle, they will ask or seek for their classmate or lecturer help. So that they really enjoy individual activity rather than the group work.
Thank you, Miss Alia and Miss Tasha. Yes, that is a very good point, Miss Tasha. We need to understand that everyone is struggling in their own way, whether we know it or not. There is one problem about online class. Lack of computer literacy is a major issue among students today. Many of them cannot operate basic programs such as video editors, facing difficulties in preparing presentations, and therefore are not able to handle their work. So, Miss Alia, do you have any opinion about this problem?
Yeah, sure. Based on an article written by Valerie, who believed that higher learning institutions need to keep up with technological changes if they do not want to miss out. In addition, a study conducted by Data reported that only 60% of university students specified their levels of ability and skills in the use of technology, which was written by Oliver and Towers in the article A Study on Barriers Contributing to an Effective Online Learning Among Undergraduate Students. This shows that students still lack skills in using technology, especially for the purpose of completing the task. So online classes actually help students to improve their technical skills and also in parallel in keeping up with current technological development. Students' technical skills can improve in many ways. For example, they learn how to create and share documents with their friends, incorporating audio or video materials to assign, preparing slides for presentation creatively by using a variety of apps to brighten up the presentation slides to make it look more interesting, and they also learn editing video. Furthermore, use of technology in learning sessions not only improve a student's skills but also has raised more creative ideas for lecturers to convey knowledge.
I do agree with Ms. Alia's point, since online classes require students to be proficient in such a field. However, there are many other students who complain regarding this issue. The reason is their course does not require such skill in employment, and they think all this additional work only wasting their time. Rather than studying to gain their knowledge about certain subject, they use that time to edit videos, which take quite a long time to be completed. Moreover, there are some lecturers who give marks based on the total view or like of their video. This method is obviously biased, since it is not fair for some students because it gives more advantages to the student that is more popular. This is when physical classes give more benefit to students, since they practice direct evaluation on student performance. Besides, physical classes also allow students to earn extra money. By working during university, not only students get to earn money, it also gives opportunity for students trying out different industries and gain insight into the various roles. It's also a great opportunity to make friends outside of their course or hall of residence. However, students themselves need to make sure that their academic work doesn't suffer, and so it's recommended that they don't work more than 20 hours a week. To help students when applying for a graduate position, they can focus on the responsibility they carry out, for example, cashing up or opening and closing the store. There are many places in university that offer part-time jobs to students, for example at the cafe, photo stick shop, campus mart, or even bazaar.
Thank you, Miss Alia and Miss Shali, for the statement and the opinion given. Students really need to empower their technical skills since we live in an era where technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate. I also agree with Miss Shali's statement that part-time jobs really help students ease their financial burden. So, Miss Tasha, do you agree with Miss Shali's point of view?
At least Miss Shali get point there. As she mentioned just now, we could earn extra money when we are doing part-time work. In my point of view, having part-time work in during study will give me definitely more trouble than good. We have to do double work in a day. All the tasks, the assessment and assignment, meaning the student need time to do their discussion, their video presentation, their report during their free time. Not judging, but when do the student get to rest? This definitely will lead the student to have more stress or having restless life. Definitely not a healthy life for a student. For example, students often to have a free time after class in the evening. Maybe doing some discussion, the assignment. Instead of spending their time to get a rest, they need to go to work. Hence, they will need an extra time afterwards to do all the assignment, assessment. which will make the student feel more tired. In having a class itself is tiring. Can you imagine the need of extra time to all of that? But if the student need to go or having a part-time work, the student really needs arrange their time wisely. If not, they definitely will easily fall out from their studies.
Yes, Miss Tasha, that is a very strong counter-argument. As a student, I understand the stress and the burden of having a lot of things to do in a short period of time. It can cause bad effects to ourselves, such as depression, if the problem were not handled properly. So, we proceed with Miss Tasha. Do you have any other points to your stand on having online classes?
Yes, Faid. If we having online classes, we can build more connection from outside the classes. What I mean is we can get more online friends, and without having one-to-one interaction, we might do not have to be shy to start a conversation first. By having online classes, we are not only get new friends from different classes, we also can get a new friend from different campus. With physical classes, it's hard for us to stay connected as we are apart from each other. Why it is important to have the connections during our studies? This is because I do believe different lecturers have different method of approaches to deliver their lecture to their students. If we, the student, we exchange the idea or the thought of the lecture, this way we could gain more knowledge regarding the same topic as we are learn multiple ideas and thoughts. For example, we can easily share the FB links to our new friend from the different campus. Like our advancement in technology will make us easier connected, as if we have an argument, we can easily go to discuss in platforms such as Webex, Google Meet, Discord, and others. This way, I could save a lot of time and money because I don't need to go to the library or to buy a lot of books. I can just ask my new friend their thought or their idea so I can understand things better.
Thank you, Miss Tasha, for the opinion given. I strongly agree with Miss Tasha. Since online classes started, I do communicate more with my friends because we are aparted far away from each other due to the movement control order. We play mobile games and chat until late at night to release our stress after pushing to submitting the assignments. So, Miss Alia, do we have any challenges during online classes?
Yes, of course. There are some challenges of online learning. Students are physically distant from the college community, as this often affects student success and experience, and the resources and interactions available to students may not be used and considered. Students who take online courses miss the experience which connects them with the faculty and other group members and classmates to interact, support, and assist each other through educational career, and this can decrease opportunities for academic and social integration. I obtained this information from a journal article of the International Journal of Advanced Research and Publications. Students who lack social interaction with peers will make students feel isolated, but I think it is not a big deal if we are used to the environment. Besides, technologies they help us to stay in touch with people around us.
Once again, I totally agree with your point, Miss Alia. However, still, we cannot deny that there are some students affected by these problems. In addition, workload that has to be completed by students remains similar between physical and online courses in either format, which is exams, papers, presentation, and projects. Each of these activities may come with a deadline that learner must meet. In online classes, of course, there will be differences between students due to lack of their facilities, if not much, maybe slightly. Even if the government claims that they have provided internet package to students, it is still not enough. The reason is because some lecturers prefer to use recorded video for their lecture. To download this video only require a lot of data, not to mention if their area have poor mobile network coverage. If this happens, students need to go to places that has the best network coverage. It takes a lot of time, energy and even money. This is not the only obstacle for students with online class. Some might have family problems, meanwhile others might have to do house chores, which indirectly give effect for students to complete their tasks in time. This is why we say different environments yield different results.
Yes, I love to highlight Miss Shali's point just now. Based on the article I just read, a recent research conducted by the Education Ministry finds that 36.9% of students in Malaysia do not possess any electronic devices. Other than that, based on a news report, students in Sarawak need a 3-hour hike to a higher spot where there is a more stable internet connection just to attend their online classes. Can you believe it? It's 2021. With or without this pandemic, this should not be an issue anymore. Hence, there is no clear answer whether online classes are better than physical classes or another way around, as there are both pros and cons of both approaches. As we can see today, classes were conducted online just because the pandemic forced us to stay at home. If there are no COVID-19, I believe we will still conduct physical classes just like before the pandemic. Thank you to all the panelists for sharing the opinions about our topic today. Online class or physical class, which one do you prefer? So, that's all from us today. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.